Hello everybody and welcome to, well, it wasn't meant to be the final episode, but now this is actually technically still not an episode of All the Mod 6, but it's just a world tour to go over everything we have done in the last 25 episodes. So, I hope you enjoy. So today, we're just having a quick little recap of everything that we have done since episode 1. Now, our first original spawn was all the way over here. And it was somewhere right around here, which was our first ever world spawn. And we decided to move our house all the way up here. So, this was our first house, and our only house. And all we did was just basically build a house and get a simple little farm started because, of course, we were starving at the very start. We had nothing. But then, moving on, we ended up starting elemental craft for some easy ore duplication at the very beginning. That helped out actually quite a lot. And then from there, we actually started learning on how to set up bees. Because bees are the only thing that are actually producing all of our resources, apart from mystical agriculture. But that's just making things that I can't make at the moment with bees. Probably could make it with bees, but whatever. And so now we have bees produced everything in apiaries, but we all started off with just a simple bee automation with a redstone clock, an item collector, and a apiary. Pretty simple, but it was very effective as well. And we managed to set up simple centrifuge in our basement as well. And then we ended up making a first set of power, which was our nuclear reactor that was underneath our house. And, well, that actually was allowing us to power our refined storage system, which now has an infinite storage drive, and we've nearly accumulated 250 million items. That's a lot of stuff. And then from there, we decided we needed an upgrade, and we discovered that we could make charms of sight to be able to see ores underground. So from there, we were able to, well, go make ourselves our armor. As you can see, we have unobtainium armor, which we got in the end. But we need to get all the modium, which is found underneath an ocean. So from there, we were able to use an X-ray pretty much to find it. And then we were able to fight the Ender Dragon. So that was a pretty easy task. So we managed to get ourselves the dragon egg, which has been here since then. Episode 10. Then, of course, our base needed an upgrade. We needed places to actually put stuff. So we decided to make this gigantic dome where we started our first magic mod. Ars Novu, which I think is actually how you pronounce it. So what we got here is a mana condenser, which condenses mana that is gained from growing crops or breeding animals, which then is stored in this tank, which we can use in a glyph press to create spells. Like if I grab my spell book, oh, that's got a really cool texture upgrade. Look at that in the hotbar. Oh, that's so cool. And if we press C, we can open our spells. Oh, this actually got a really nice makeover. But the one thing we actually never did, let me just quickly do it, is upgrade the thing to the max. There we go. And here, I think we actually have our blink spell actually now. So if we just go to number 6, do projectile, blink, create, and wherever this hits, we teleport to. Which is actually quite cool. And then from there, we decided to go ahead and start our ore tripling using a mechanism. So we set up a system up here where ores get imported in from an ender chest, uses oxygen to break it down into clumps, and then the clumps get crushed, which turns into dirty, and then this gets cleaned in here using the enrichment chamber, which then gets smelted and exported into our system through an ender chest. That's hooked up with an import under our house in the basement. And of course, we can't forget the dungeon raid. Very disappointed in this dungeon though, but it never gave us a chest room. I have a feeling those chests got destroyed somehow. Don't know how, but they did, which was very disappointing. But from there, we were able to get ourselves some villagers. So villagers were actually really handy on getting all these enchantments on our armor, even though just using an enchantment table was very good and just getting really high enchantments, but actually getting the highest level enchantments, these villagers came in clutch. And also, to move them here, we of course needed to make plastic, which we got from using a latex processing unit and a tree fluid extractor, which is right in here. No wooden anymore, but as you can see, this pipe has still got so much plastic or latex in it that we could just keep exporting this for days. But then, we also wanted to get into doing a bit of farming. But of course, to do a lot of the farming for Mythic Agriculture, we needed tons of Inferium Essence. And that's where this whole system came into play. We were able to set up an item collector, which is having a rat on it because it was still quite slow at picking up at the rate that these things are dropping. Like if we look at this harvester, without these rats, this thing would not be able to harvest as fast as these things are growing. Because like using these hoes with growth on it, with an item user with tick delay of 1 with Inferium watering cans, which are doing a pure 9x9 area, and we managed to get ourselves lily pads of fertility. This stuff grows incredibly fast that we have managed to make like Supremium Essence. Like, I think I used a fair bit of it last episode for making the creative essence for using Insanium, but even still having over 100,000 Supremium is actually insane. So then from there, we decided to look into RF builders for quarrying out the mining dimension. For some reason I cannot go to the mining dimension. The teleport pad isn't working unless it's different. Do I stand on it? Apparently we cannot go there. That is actually very strange. Was this disabled in the latest update? Anyway, but we cleared out a massive area, like what we've done up here. As you can see, we've done the same thing in the mining dimension, but on a way larger scale. And then from there, well, of course, we started Botania, which actually allowed us to get creative flight. Because we needed to make, of course, creative flight, we needed Gaia Spirit and a ton of Terra Steel, which was actually quite a pain to make because it required a lot of mana. But now we have an infinite mana pool. It's not a problem to get. And we have Terra Seeds. So, no problem there. But the bees need a slight bit of an upgrade. Yeah, they were great and all, that with just using the hives. But we discovered we could use apiaries. So, of course, we decided to upgrade our centrifuge system. Which, oh damn, these got an upgrade as well. Or maybe a texture glitch? I can't actually tell. This is all new to me. But the elite centrifuges, we can do like 6 things at once. And it does it quite fast. And of course now it has a built-in tank, which does not need to have bottles input to actually process anymore. So this actually is what gave us so many items. And we can't forget about our Morgan sword. This thing has been my best friend. From killing anything that crosses our path, to just being the best sword in the world. I don't know how I'm going to live without this. Having 2,000 attack damage? I don't know. But, of course, to make it, we had to start Mahou to Sky. Which, we need to set up this whole system of using swords, which I have since emptied because they were just all broken from regenerating our mana, which is now at 50,700. That's a great point from like 400 that we needed to kill for each, or use for each villager we kill. But once we got the sword, of course we needed to test how strong it would be. So that's where we took it to the dragons. Which, hang on, what? Okay, I think the other dimensions are broken for some reason. I don't know if that's because I updated to the latest version, but apparently the other dimension is gone, so I don't know what's going on there. Probably might look into that. I don't know. Because we are going to be still probably streaming Ultimate 6 for a little bit longer on Twitch. But from there, we'll probably go on to a new mod pack as well. We don't know what one yet. So, of course, then we needed to start auto-crafting. As you can see, we need to make all these patterns. Having auto-crafting was such a lifesaver and a time saver. Like, having to try and craft all of these, like, different patterns and stuff. Like, if we come back downstairs here, all the alloys are automatically crafted in here upon request. Like, if we go in here to only craftables, you can see we can request, like, 64 of these. Go. Now, it started, and it's made 64, and because of its 9x9, or 9 slots, it actually crafts it quite quick. And then, of course, these reactors weren't able to keep up with the power usage that we were using. We needed to try something else. And that's where the power mod came in. We were able to make ourselves a nitro reactor with an automated dry ice system, because usually dry ice can only be found underground, but you can actually make it if you put blue ice inside of a energizer. Which actually took a while to make, because all these nitro things required a lot of the nitro essence, which had to be crafted in here, but we were able to make it quite quick using seeds and planting it inside these botany pots, which are growing so slow, even considering for a flower. But then came the big boy reactors, the mechanism generator reactors. Those things were the most powerful things I've ever seen. And that was actually my first time messing with these things. As you can see, even though there's actually plenty of fuel here, it's always going to struggle. I guess I just need to put a couple of rats on that. Normal mode. 1, 2, 3. There you go. Now you're keeping up, I think. Yeah, you seem to be fine now. Yep, there's always a bottleneck somewhere. But because of that, we were able to set up this gigantic fission reactor, which then made nuclear waste, which of course then had to be pumped into a solar neutron activator, and then into a supercritical phase shifter, of course, to make our antimatter. But of course, we can't forget, and we needed somewhere to store all the power. That's where the induction matrix came in. And these evaporation towers is how we managed to make 1.7 million lithium? Yep, 1.7 million lithium, which was used for making the induction matrix casing and the cells, which stores quite a bit of power. Then we have the reactor, which is actually generating a bit of power, but mainly steam, so that we can power these gigantic, well, not gigantic, these turbines can be a lot bigger, but these steam turbines, which are making 4 million RF each, equivalating a little bit over 16 million RF each. Or not each, altogether. We also can't forget we went to Ratlantis, and we managed to get this, I never used it, but a cool looking block that just has a head that follows you around with cool little animations. And our trip to Ratlantis. So this place doesn't offer too much, but there is a couple of bosses that you can go fight and do whatever. But the most important thing then is our pet dragons. If we grab ourselves a dragon up here, so let's grab our ice dragon. Let's come all the way up here to this tree and place him down. The big boy himself. We never actually picked out a name for these guys, which I'm actually kind of disappointed in, because I forgot to mention that. But with the dragons came create, which we managed to make ourselves a windmill, and set up an automated system for creating gravel. How's this guy doing? Is he okay? Yeah, he is. Pipe down out there. That's kind of why I have him away in the back, because he's actually quite loud. But, of course, then once we made the automated gravel, we needed a way to get more resources other than just having to rely on a big open square, and once it's empty, that's all the ore is gone. In came this void miner, which isn't actually working right now, which I don't know why. It should be. Jesus, you're angry. But then, of course, we needed to make the last piece of the puzzle before we finished, which was the pneumatic craft pressure chamber, which is what allowed us to create our creative essence. And here we have the system. So once it reaches a power of 9, which is roughly about 4.8 bars, I think a little bit close to 5, it will output a redstone signal when it's equivalent to a power of 9 using a analog lever from create and a redstone comparator into a redstone transmitter, which goes into a redstone receiver and into these air compressors. Okay, Dragon, you are going in timeout. You are too loud. Don't complain. And then, of course, our creative item that we managed to make, which was the Everlasting Guilty Pool, pumping out using a Gaia mana spreader into a mana flux field, which is outputting 1600 RF every time, and it's just amazing. Infinite power is so much better than generating power using other methods. So this is actually now the final piece to the entire series, and I already said in the last episode, but thanks for all the support throughout the entire series. And if you do like the series, then hit the like button on the videos and subscribe if anyone's new. And I do stream other games like Minecraft and Fortnite, Apex, and maybe some VR games over on Twitch. That link is down in the description. And I hope you're excited for the new series coming out tomorrow, because this video is going up on a Sunday and the new series is out on a Monday. So without further ado, I hope you enjoy, and thanks.